Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CharlotteSportsBlog.com, and we're bringing you our fourth podcast, and we're going to focus on the draft today, as we are exactly 1 week away from the Hornets making their selection, and obviously, as you all know, they have picks 9, 24, and 45, and a lot could be done with those three picks. So I'm joined with my partner, Mark Calcagno, and today we're going to discuss, what we think is going to happen. So, Mark, there's a lot of players out there, but who do you see Rich Cho taking at the number 9 pick?
Well, in my opinion, it's really come down to three options, and that's Doug McDermott, Gary Harris, and Nick Stauskas. And personally, my favorite out of the three is Nick Stauskas, particularly because of his three-point shooting ability. He's deadly out there from beyond the arc, shot almost 45% from three last year at Michigan. But really, he can do more than shoot the three. He can also drive. He can pull up from mid-range, similarly to how Gerald Henderson does. You see him fade away a lot. Nick Stauskas can do that very well. And also defensively, while he's not the greatest, he'll be okay at the 2 spot. I give him the upper hand over Doug McDermott defensively because McDermott's playing the 3, where the best athletes in the NBA are. Well, at the 2, you don't really have the talent that you do at the small forward position.
Right, and obviously there's a lot of opinions out there, and I'm still on the fence. I just really don't know what to think anymore. Last year, Cody Zeller came out of nowhere. I thought we were going to go with Macklemore or maybe a guy like Alex Len, which turned out it's great we didn't because he was just a bust or has been so far. But I like Gary Harris because, I've said all offseason, Gerald Henderson and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist cannot be in the same starting unit. So we get Gary Harris, a guy who could come in and probably be thrown into the fire right away and start. And then if we maybe upgrade at the 3, like an Aaron Aflalo, Chandler Parsons, a lot of options out there, I really think that'd make a nice combo. And it'd enable Kidd-Gilchrist to play minutes as a role player instead of starting, which he's probably more suited for anyway. So as of right now, I think Gary Harris is the guy at number 9, and I just don't see us trading that pick. We might trade down a little bit, but there's just so much talent. I think it's going to be hard to pass on. And obviously next up is 24, which I think we should trade and get a veteran like Aflalo, who I've been wanting since last year's trade deadline. Or there's other guys out here and get a veteran who can shoot and can really be a nice complement to the team. How do you see 24 playing out?
Well, if we keep the pick, I really like Shabazz Napier out of UConn. He's a player that's very similar to Kemba Walker. They both are pretty short point guards who won national championships with UConn. But they also are very talented and interesting players to watch. There's a lot of talk about P.J. Harrison at 24 if he falls there. While he's a very good player, and I would certainly like to see him score the basketball as a Charlotte Hornet next year, I don't really see him filling the need that a Napier does. When you look at the Hornets, they really need a backup point guard, and that's what you can get with Napier. Well, P.J. Harrison, you already have Jeffrey Taylor and Chris Douglas-Roberts coming off the bench, and so I don't really see the need that P.J. Harrison brings over Shabazz Napier.
Yeah, personally, I like Shabazz too at 24 if we were to pick there. I think obviously there's a need at backup point guard, and he could come in and learn under Kemba Walker and really could provide some minutes. And if we didn't get him, I'm open to bringing Ramon Sessions back because he's a guy who was really a nice veteran presence in the locker room and just was a nice guy to our team. And I hated to see him go, but ultimately we got a nice piece in Gary Neal who can be the 6th man next year and do good things for the Hornets. But, so you look at 9-24, we got that. Now, a lot of people aren't talking about the 45, but, I think that can be an important pick because while it's probably not likely it's going to be an impact player, you can get a guy who can fill a need and, maybe bring you some minutes off the end of the bench.
At 45, I like Isaiah Austin out of Baylor. He could bring some front court depth to the Hornets, which they will need next year, especially with the Josh McRoberts contract issue. So I like him there if he falls to the Hornets at 45. But ultimately, it's just about getting a good value player, which I believe the Hornets will do there.
Well, fans, that just about does it here at the Charlotte Sports Blog for our 4th podcast. And just in summary, Mark likes Nick Stauskas at number 9, while I like Gary Harris. And 24, he likes Shabazz Napier out of UConn. And I think that pick should be shopped for a veteran. As far as 45 goes, we could definitely get some guy to fill a need there and maybe bring us energy minutes off the end of the bench. But as far as that is concerned, we remind you the draft is next Thursday, 7 o'clock ESPN. And until then, keep checking back with the charlottesportsblog.com for all your draft coverage. And if you care about the Panthers too, we have articles on them as well as baseball. We thank you for your time and thank you for your support at the Charlotte Sports Blog.